Hi, this is Jeff White with Life and Living Today and Versatile Fighting Arts. And today I wanted to bring and kind of go through a Qigong flow that I found a few years ago and have practiced regularly. Qigong, by nature, definition of the word Qigong is simply energy. So Qigong is a broad category of exercises, flow, movements that incorporate using mind-body awareness, breath, and at the highest level, spirit. Typically, Qigong is done very slow, moving, and not a lot of strengths. However, there are hard Qigong and there is soft Qigong. So if you're looking at Qigong as being any exercise, any movement that incorporates spirit, mind, and body, and especially primarily mind, body, and breath. So you're looking at Qigong being, the definition of the word is energy. And it's a very broad category that can comprise of anything, really, that works on the energy in your body, that incorporates mind-body connection, and preferably mind-body breath, and at the deepest levels, spirit, soul, and body. So spirit, mind, and body as well. And we'll have a lot of tools that we can use to kind of work through this. Qigong in itself, by its definition being energy work, can be both hard and soft. Now typically, the lion's share of Qigong movements are done without any tension. The idea is to relax completely. You only have enough tension that you need for the movements, and you're becoming aware of and then harnessing spirit, soul, and body. So you want your breath, mind, and body all working together. Now you can also have hard Qigong. By that definition, anything that uses mind, body, and breath awareness can be considered a form of energy. Weightlifting, if done with that intent, can also be. Some of the flows that I do, I can do both hard, soft, or a combination in between. Depends on what I'm after. But the greatest benefit of Qigong is done when it is nice and relaxed. I'm working, when I'm twisting my arms and torque, I'm looking at not building muscle, exterior muscle, but more tendons and ligaments. I'm letting the core from my bone structure out. I'm looking at strengthening those parts of my body. When we do a lot of running or weightlifting and things like that, part of what we're doing is we're working to build these muscles. And then we want those muscles to work on the tendons and ligaments and also strengthen our bones. And that's great. And it gives us, releases the neurochemicals, and we feel good, the endorphins are running, and everything feels great. When we're working a lot of these Qigong flows, it's the opposite. We're looking at building our body from the inside out. So on a surface physical level, we're harnessing breath, we're harnessing slow movements, using a lot of twisting, turning to strengthen, lengthen tendons and ligaments. And then on top of that, then we can go to add in the static, more isometric or more movements, so that we start building in the physical muscles as well. But I do caution you, the greatest benefit is the soft flow. I do use both because I do value that feeling, and I do think there's a place for both the hard, the soft, and along that spectrum. Also with Qigong, you want to look at the deeper you go. There are times where we have different flows where we're going to stand, just like this, or down here, or here. With various ways of standing. In Xingyi, we're standing like this. And we're just looking at standing there for extended periods of time, and the idea is to relax. Relax your mind, relax your body. Only have enough tension, only enough tone in your body to hold this up, or simply to move. But the important thing when we're doing Qigong is, what are we doing on the inside? If all I'm doing, when I'm doing, let's just say this, I have this one flow we're going to work today. And if all I'm doing is this feels good, but I'm not adding any torque. I'm not adding any tension to it. So the only thing that I'm really doing is I'm moving. However, when I start to build my awareness, I harness it with breath. And this particular flow has a lot of different levels. There's a level we add sound. There's a level we add visualization of color. I'm working on visualizing health and the organs of my body. So there's a whole lot that goes in with that. But this particular, as we begin to start out, is when I focus on my Qigong, what I do on the inside is far more important, honestly, than what I'm doing on the outside. What I'm doing on the inside with the breath and where I'm feeling my energy come from Dantian, from my different energy centers, is what activates this. And so the idea for me is when I was first researching into Qigong, there was a lot about gathering energy up and moving. And I come from a place that I know I'm already energy. I know that at our very core and essence, we are one. We're spirit. We're all connected together. It is as we begin to separate our consciousness and we begin to look out and differentiate, as soon as we begin to differentiate ourselves in our mind and say I, we create the ego. We create this prismatic consciousness that is a reflection part of us, but not really the real us. But it's what we're using to navigate in the physical world with mind and emotions, feelings, all of that goes in, physical body, all of that. So I want to, now let me back up. Some people will use Qigong to say you can do this to get there, and that's true. It's a way of working from the outside in, but why not shortcut that a little bit? And that's part of what we're going to do with some of these exercises. That when we move, I want to move from my core, I want to move from my spirit. And you kind of just have to feel that. We're not really gathering energy in my mind so much as we are collecting, we are attracting, but we're already that energy. When there's times when we will use warm-up movements, and it's just to wake up the Qi. Well, Qi's always flowing. If Qi wasn't flowing, you'd be dead. Okay? So there can be blockages. Remember, in my mind, we have a lot of different levels to us, depending upon who you speak with and from what set of beliefs they come from. I've seen anywhere from 5 to 7 to 9 different body sheets that we have. You know, I kind of look at it as we're spirit, and as we create the I and the consciousness, now we've created ego, so now we have a mental sheet to us. We have an emotional aspect to us. We also have a physical aspect to us. On the emotional, which is sometimes the closest into spirit, then that can also have a lot of deviations. Our beliefs will create a lot of problems or a lot of joy for us as well, but it also keeps us removed from who we really are. And the idea is that we want to, through meditation and the Qigong, which I consider a moving meditation, is to get back to that original face, to get back to moving and being deeper than the ego level. So getting back, and I just call it our original face, original spirit, original self. So to me, that's the value of Qigong, is that sitting meditation allows you to become aware of your thoughts, still your thoughts, so that you're not running down all those little rabbit holes. You're not being attached to different thoughts as they come through. You realize I'm the thinker of my thoughts, and I can let those thoughts go, and I can observe, and I can watch. I can just be, which is the important thing. I can just be. And the more that I get to that feeling of just being, the more harmonious I feel with all of nature, and the deeper parts of nature, because nature is still a manifestation of spirit. I feel more at peace and in harmony with myself and with nature and spirit, original face. The problem sometimes comes when we're sitting in meditation going, this feels great, I've got this. And then we get up and we move into our world. And we haven't figured out a way of training to get from sitting meditation where everything is wonderful, and then we have to meet into the world, go into the world, and begin to lose it. We begin to see all the things that we have to see, interact with people, and life goes on. Qigong helps keeping you harnessed and aware of that movement as well. So for me, the first idea with Qigong is becoming aware of the energy that you are and that's in your body, it's in your mind. Second is, as you become more aware of it, then you begin to harness it. You begin to use your intent to align with it. And then as those impulses come from spirit to create that intent for movement. We're waiting for the ice cream truck to go by. It's hot out here. It's good for ice cream. So, so then we kind of, so then we learn to use Qigong as a way of moving. Now in that moving we also begin to feel our body, we can begin to sense and harness and direct this energy as well. Because it's still us, it's still our energy. So this, to me, these are all the fundamental values that go into Qigong. And when I first started doing this flow, it was so easy, it was so light, that my first response was, there's not much to this. It's just not really all that interesting. But I kept going back to it, because I really felt like there was something else that was here. And so what I did was I committed myself to do this for 30 to 60 days. And once I did, then I began to feel the difference, and it became quite surprising at just how much energy that I felt. In part, it was a way of releasing stress, feeling relaxation into my body. It was also a way where I would feel far more energized than when I had done it before. Than without doing it. I felt far more energized than when I did. So I always approach things with a kind of a natural cynicism. Healthy. You have to believe into some of this in order for it to work. Remember quantum physics. If I'm looking for a particle, I see a particle. I'm looking for the wave, I see the wave. So it depends on what you're looking for. Kind of the same thing with this. But I always kind of say, okay, here's what I would like, but I want to feel. I want to know this is real. And there's always a little bit of, okay, how much of this, am I imagining this real? This is psychosomatic, and that's valid. But there's a point also it becomes still very, very real. And that's when I found, especially with this form, this flow really did that for me. In a way where it wasn't all aggressive, it wasn't all assertive, it wasn't a lot of twists and turns, it was very clear, very good. That's because when I focus, I'm imagining, I'm feeling the energy through my palms, my hands. When I'm coming up and I'm coming on this side, I am feeling the connection between the energy in my body, the energy in my hands as it comes through. As I'm coming in, and this movement also helps to energize and invigorate liver and liver meridians and the systems that the liver works with, then I still was coming up and I could feel this energy. And I could feel it in this clearing. So it became something that I became a very strong believer in. And I know whenever I go to first teach this, if they don't do it consistently, they're not going to be in value. And I'll share that with you. If you do this for a few days, you're not going to have any real value. You may sense something, but continue with it. I would say give everything a good 30 days. And then see how it feels. Make a journal. Take notes. So there's several Qigong flows and forms that I use. This is called 5-element flow. And the idea is, from traditional Chinese medicine, there's the idea of you have the 5 elements. In this case, it kind of goes from wood to metal to earth. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water. And within the traditional Chinese medicine, they kind of fit everything within those 5 elements. Coming from a more meditative background before I got involved with martial arts and then eventually a little bit in the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, chakras. were something that I had already experienced, already worked with, had already believed, and I consider them to be focal points, vortexes. Um, One person I know considers them to be energy knots that have to be undone and allow the free flow of energy, and they're all correct. But you have 7. You have one that's right, the perineum. Second one is a couple of inches below the navel, more towards the center. Third is going to be diaphragm area. Then you're going to have heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And those are the 7. Some call them an 8th with one that's above. And so when I'm doing that, I'm considering all of that in my body moving. As I go through, I feel the energy from my heart, my heart, down my arms, coming out of my palm. I feel that energy coming up. I feel the glow and the flow of the chakras as I move through. So each of these movements affects or is tied into an element. They're also working with internal organs of the body. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, the organs of the body are not just the organs of the body. They also represent processes, and they also have a lot of association with mental and emotional parts of us as well. We won't go into all of that at this point, but we're looking at liver, heart, stomach and spleen, lungs, kidneys. Okay? So, and that pretty much, as we begin to move through these, then we're also kind of focusing on liver, focusing on heart, focusing on stomach and spleen, which also obviously affects the rest of our digestive system. We're focusing on lungs, we're focusing on kidneys. And then in the end, triple warmer, we're bringing them all together. So let me kind of work through this flow with you. I will do each of these about 3 times each side. The longer you do these, the better. The very minimum is going to be 3 times. So the number of times that you want to do this, the very minimum is 3. For demonstration purposes, I'll use 3. I prefer 5 to 15, depending upon how much time that you have. It also has to do with your focus. Don't sit there as you get in and all of a sudden you start losing focus. Don't just sit here and go, you've done nothing. Stop, go do something different. Come back later. Or recenter yourself and then allow for this to move. So as we come through, feet are about shoulder width apart. I want to have, once again, I'm letting my bones settle. I'm very relaxed. I usually tend to start with a little bit of meditation, but that's just me. Sometimes I don't have to. Sometimes on my lunch break, I find a little corner and I go through these flows as well. So when I go through, just imagine I have energy in my hands and I'm imagining leading that energy up my leg. We're not forcing energy ever. We're leading energy. And I'm leading that energy up and I'm feeling the activation. I'm feeling the energy flow. Let's stop before that. So as we get started, then it's a good idea to warm the body up. Now part of what you're doing, some people I have heard they're saying they're awakening their chi and activating their chi. Well, your chi is moving all the time. What you're activating in my mind is your awareness of it. So feet forward, twist. Nice and easy. Breathe. Nice diaphragmatic breathing. Not forcing anything. You're simply relaxing. Is the turn of my shoulders that cause my hands to come up. I can come up and I can hit, and when I'm hitting, I'm also hitting right here, the lumbar on my back. And I like coming up to this long one section here. I can use cupping. outside, come up the inside, come around the shoulders, down my chest, sternum, liver, stomach, spleen, knock on your kidneys. I can come down, have a hit on my butt, bring it out the back. So I'm waking up. I like that phrase, we're waking up. Hip flexors. So I'm enlivening and becoming aware of my nerves, nerve endings, bring them up. So now you kind of have this tingling. Is anything special? Yes, it's Qi. Yes, it's bioelectric energy, which is what Qi is. I'm also just kind of all my nerve endings. They're firing signals, and I'm now aware of it. So now when I come through, I'm going to gather this energy. I already begin to feel with my palms and my hands and my arms this energy coming up, and I want to feel it. Imagine I'm leading this energy up, and for me it's almost I'm activating, or I am not attracting so much, but I am harmonizing with the energy in my body. I can feel it. I come across crown chakra. I turn. What I'm doing here is I'm just getting rid. You ever have somebody come and just brush your back and shoulders, and you feel stress, you feel all that negative energy, bad juju go away? It's kind of the same thing. And that's also a good telling moment of that bioelectric Qi, that energy. Feel the resonation between my hands and the energy in my body. I feel my body begin to resonate with the energy back and forth. And that's movement one. Movement two is for the heart. That was for the liver. Here, nice and low. I have one palm that's always facing my heart. Imagining the energy from my palm, my body, especially from heart chakra, is resonating. And that goes heart. Stomach, spleen. I want to drop. Hold my coccyx in a little bit, not too much, just enough so that everything, I can breathe easily. I'm not sticking my butt out. I'm not over impressing it in. I'm just tucking it in a little bit so that my spine becomes straight, my airways become unobstructed completely. So I'm right. The next is lungs. I can go out, come back in, or I could turn, come down. The next one is water. So we did liver, heart. So for liver, we have wood. Heart, we had fire, earth. So stomach and spleen is earth. Lungs is metal, and water, kidneys, in the back. So with this, the water, now the water meridians, kind of bladder and whatnot, kind of pull up the legs. I'm coming in, pulling, dropping the elbows, So imagine I'm resonating, pulling that energy up. Now please understand, any words, any illustrative words that I use are never going to do a proper job. So we'll use certain of these as I'm pulling this energy up out of the ground. For me, I'm really not. I'm just activating, resonating with the energy that's already part of me and of the universe. So that's for kidneys. And last, to harmonize everything. That's the very basic. That's the physical part. Now, we also have sound, we have visualization, we have colors that we add into this as well. At first, you may want to just get started with just the physical, although I do think there's a lot of value in learning and applying the different layers and the different aspects of sound, breath, harmonizing all that together, the visualization. For some, it may be too much at this stage. If it's something that you're just not feeling, you don't agree with, put it on the shelf. Come back to it later. There were parts of this as I went through, as I do with anything that I learn. I read, I study, I practice, and there's certain things I look at and I go, I'm just not feeling that at this point. I'm not going to condemn it, I'm not going to criticize it, I'm going to look at it from a lot of different angles. If I still don't get it, I'm going to put it on a shelf, and I'll come back to it later. And sometimes I've come back to things and I went, I understand it now, because my understanding has deepened and has broadened. Other times I've come back to it and go, nope, still not there. And sometimes I just go, okay, I don't agree with that premise. That's fine too. All right? So let's kind of run through this again. And as we go through,
When you can hear the
we'll
crack.
skip over the activation part. As I come through, I want you to breathe. And I want you to think on this liver, the sound of shh. It's just good shh, shh. So it's breathe in.
Here, go take a look at the ball. Go take a picture of
Feel
the
that
ball.
energy resonating. Breathe in. Let everything go.
Alright, you wanna go try to swim by? I think it's right over here.
Let everything go. Next, for the heart, that sound is like a har. So when I come through, it's breathe. If you notice tension in your body, release it. You only want enough tone in your body to complete the movements itself. That's heart. Then we go into spleen, and spleen is so I'm going coming to lungs, metal. That sound is so breathe in. So we've gone liver, gone heart, we've done spleen and stomach, we've done lungs, then we go kidneys. Kidneys, that is like I'm blowing out a candle. So I come in, pull it up, drop the elbows, keep the shoulders down. And the last is doing triple warmer, gathers everything together. That sound is so on. So when you're making the noise, now, little point, I'll go over others of these. We'll wrap this up in a minute. I'll come back with others where we will use color along with the sound, along with the breath, and then we'll also use different points where standing meditation, where a lot of that real work of Qigong comes in with working small circulation within the energy centers, becoming more focused, releasing the thoughts, and creating this relaxation in your body. But more than relaxation, you're using the relaxation so that none of the energy is inhibited, and you can sense and feel all of that energy without mistaking it for that physical energy that we become so attached to. So that's the 5-element flow. It's very basic forms. I would suggest you do this once a day, at least for a good 30 days if you're going to evaluate. Usually I kind of say 90 days, but a good 30 days. I listen for, and I'm wanting to feel that resonation between the energy in my body, the energy in my palms. I feel it most strongly, like I said, when I'm doing this scanning of my body. And I come through, and I begin to turn, and I can sense and feel heart chakra, third eye. I feel a sensation in my throat at that throat chakra, heart, solar plex, dantian, perineum. So all the various chakras I feel aligning. And you take some time not to rush through, but to feel that resonation of your energy, the resonation in your body. Later on we'll talk about breathing, this whole body breathing, where it feels like I'm breathing into the core of my bones and out again. Now obviously you're not actually breathing into your body through your lungs. Your lungs are what's doing the work, but it is your awareness, and it is your, it's just that, it's your awareness of your energetic being. The more that you do this, the greater the benefit. You will find yourself more relaxed, more focused, more in tune, harmonious with yourself, and eventually with others as well. So there's a lot of benefits that come from this. And the more that you sit in meditation, and you, whether you're doing insight meditation or one-pointed meditation, and now you're beginning to move, now I can move, and I can continue to keep that sense with me. Excuse me, because I'm following it from my heart and from my dantian. So I hope that helps. This is the 5-element flow. This came from Holden Qigong, is where I learned this. It was actually a fairly old point system. One of several that we'll go over. We will add to this as we go through and expand on a little bit. I'll come with various variations as well. With any of the Qigong flows that I do, the Qigong movements, I have one that Yi Jin Jing, that every time I go look for it, there is something that's different from different teachers. And that's just the way any of this is. They have an insight, they had a movement, it's the way they were taught, it's what they had insights about, and they changed it either for themselves, for their students, and broadcast it, and here we are. So pay attention to the concepts, the principles. Anything can be a Qigong flow, as long as if you're doing it with the concepts of mind, spirit, mind, and body, and breath. All focused. So, thank you very much. Thank you for